Tennessee this week passed legislation that requires teachers, not colleges, high schools, middle schools, and elementary schools to teach their children that there is a controversy about whether the world is 5,000 years old or 6,000 years old or 5 billion years old, and that there's a controversy about whether humans are causing global warming or not. The controversies, yes. And John G. West, Ph.D. of the Discovery Institute, the Senior Fellow and Associate Director of the Discovery Institute, is on the line with us. The website, of course, is Discovery... No, I'm sorry. Yes, it is. It's discovery.org, isn't it?
Yep, it is.
Okay. Dr. West, welcome to the program. This Gillian Flacus has written this piece out of Los Angeles about a fellow who was fired, apparently. Well, according to the Jet Propulsion Laboratories, he was one of 246 JPL employees who were let go due to planned budget cuts. In other words, he was the victim of the Republican austerity programs. But he's claiming, and he had gotten 2 warnings before from coworkers complaining about harassment, and he's saying that harassment was his trying to talk his fellow workers, his fellow scientists, into believing his creationist point of view, and therefore he was selected to be among those laid off or fired. And this is some kind of religious discrimination. Do I have that right?
That's what he's claiming, yes, because the Jet Propulsion Lab perceived his views as religious. He doesn't accept the idea that his support of intelligent design is religious, but they perceived it as that, and so under the law, if that's why they're treating him in a certain way, then religious discrimination would be prohibited.
Do you know of any Buddhists who believe in intelligent design?
Actually, I got correspondence once from a Buddhist in Canada, a scholar who was very favorable towards intelligent design. So I think that there may...
Well, I don't see a big movement in the Buddhist world, China, Tibet, Vietnam, Thailand. My point is that this intelligent design is based basically in the book of Genesis. And if something is based in a religious book, how can you say it's not religious?
Well, actually, intelligent design isn't based on the book of Genesis. It's based on things like the fine-tuning of the universe, where there are all these dozens of parameters. If they're even the slightest bit different, life as we know it wouldn't exist at all. And
right.
That's well recognized by scientists. And so there are even people...
John, that's mixing up cause and effect. You and I are the descendants of people who successfully had children. That doesn't mean that that nobody ever existed who didn't have children.
No, but the alternate explanation to design is basically chance and necessity. And
well, that's what I was just saying. There was chance and necessity in the human race, and over time it led to you and me being alive and the children of people who never had children not existing.
But no matter how many billions of years you have, and I accept that there's many billions of years, probabilistically, the things that you're talking about, it's like one chance in almost infinitesimal amounts that things would turn out the way they have, so
right?
And so that we have life. And so I think it's a valid debate. But
but take this back to people. I mean, what are the odds that a person 160,000 years ago, living in the savannas of Southwest Africa, would end up being the great, a whole bunch of greats, grandparent of you and me? The odds are pretty slim, aren't they? But it happened. That doesn't mean that God made it happen.
Well, intelligent design doesn't say that through science you can know whether it was God who planned it or not. But getting back to the case of David Coppedge, which you raised, just
right.
to clarify a few things, what he was accused of doing was actually once or twice a month offering his colleagues a couple of videos about intelligent design, and if they didn't want it, fine. If they did, he loaned it to them. No one ever complained about that. What happened in 2009 was a supervisor heard about it and got upset and chewed him out. He didn't have 2 warnings. Mm-hmm. He had no warnings, and in fact, no one actually complained to him. The first he heard about it was in the beginning of 2009, and then he was ordered to stop, which he did, but
But the other 246 Jet Propulsion Laboratories scientists who were laid off at the same time he was, the 245, they weren't passing out religious literature.
Actually, in his that's a deceptive figure because, in fact, in his class, it was actually 2 people who were laid off. They aggregated a lot of other people.
Was the other one passing out Jehovah's Witness literature or some other stuff that could be interpreted as religious?
No, but in fact what happened at what David Coppedge raised the objection or question is the Jet Propulsion Lab had a policy. They allowed people to bash intelligent design, to put up political cartoons bashing various people's views. Mm-hmm. This was, people were allowed to talk about all sorts of views.
People had free speech. Isn't there a difference?
So the point is not whether he should have special rights or whether he should have the right to proselytize or harass people. The question is, should he have the right to talk about his views in precisely the same way that all of his colleagues were allowed to? And even if he didn't have the right, should they basically be able to reprimand, demote, and then ultimately get rid of him when the first time it was raised with him, there's no question he stopped doing it, even if they didn't have the right to say.
What state was this happening in?
Excuse me?
What state?
California.
So I don't know if California is or is not a right-to-work for less state. I think it is. And I don't know if Jet Propulsion Laboratories is unionized or not. No idea. But I'm guessing that because a union representative is not yelling about this, it is not. So, basically in the workplace in America, unless you have a union and you are not in a right to work for less state, and you are in a free bargaining state, unless you have a union defending you, you have no free speech rights in the workplace. The workplace, the First Amendment protects us against oppression by our government, not by our employers.
But But the issue here is actually you do have a right to be free from discrimination. So see, the issue here, yes, could Jet Propulsion Lab, taxpayer funded, it's quasi-private, quasi-public, it's wholly funded by our tax dollars. So it's almost a government agency, even though technically it's not. But could they have said, no employee speech on things outside the workplace, pro or con, nothing dealing with politics or religion? Yes, they could have done that.
But to demonstrate
right to work state,
religious prejudice, you pretty much have to demonstrate that you're a member of a persecuted religious minority. I don't think that somebody who's aggressively proselytizing for the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster is going to be taken seriously.
Okay.
And I don't think in a scientific environment that somebody proselytizing for intelligent design is going to be taken seriously.
He wasn't proselytizing. He was asking his colleagues if they wanted to watch a video, and when they said no, he said fine. And if they did, he loaned it to them. But again, the point is you cannot, and you as a progressive, I would think, would understand this in basic discrimination law. What you can't do is choose one person out of 1,000 employees or however many employees they say, and we're going to apply different standards to you. And we'll
but this wasn't his religion.
You talk about whatever they want.
You're asserting on the one hand that this is not a religious belief, and then at the same time you're saying that he was discriminated against because of his religion. That makes no sense.
The law is clear. They said, Jet Propulsion Lab say, we think that's a religious belief, and then
they said that he was one of 246 employees let go because of budget cuts that were promoted by the Republican Party.
That happened actually 2 years after the initial demotion and reprimand. And so they're saying it was unrelated. We know from the email traffic that at the time of the initial demotion and reprimand, they were talking behind the scenes of how do we get rid of him because of the things that he was doing that they didn't like.
Well, if I had an employee who was constantly coming to me about the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster and how we had to have more pirates to stop global warming,
I think you as a liberal would support people who have views that you disagree with from being
I generally do. I'm talking about what the law is here, and
the law says you can't make an arbitrary distinction based on someone's religion.
People can read about it at discovery.org. John West.